With the First Descendant just a couple hours away, I decided to make a video on a starter guide for the First Descendant. So that way, for anybody who didn't have a chance to play the open beta, you guys can hit the ground running and not have some of those simpler questions and focus more on just enjoying the game. By now, I hope you guys know you guys do start with 3 Descendants, even though there are 14 Descendants for you to unlock. You have Viessa, you have Lepic, and you have Ajax. Ajax is known as the tank of the First Descendant. Viessa is known for her frost ability and freezing the enemy in place. And then Lepic is known as the demolitionist expert. Now, whichever Descendant you decide to go with, don't worry, you're in good hands. All of them are amazing in their own ways, and you just need to find one that fits your playstyle. Now, once you decide to go with the Descendant, the first thing you'll notice is you only have 1 skill unlocked. And like I said, all Descendants come with 4 skills, so that is something you have to level up. As you continue to level your character, you'll continue to unlock those skills. So you'll start off with 1 skill, and then hopefully after a couple missions, you'll have all of them unlocked. So that way you can start truly utilizing what the power of a Descendant really is. Now, even after you get all 4 skills, you might realize, you know what, these actually feel a little underpowered, and there is a good reason why. Because your builds don't have modules, your builds don't have reactors, and your builds don't have external components. And you're probably like, what does that even mean? So let's go take a look. So as you're farming the open world and you're farming activities and other missions, you're gonna end up getting a lot of loot. And in those loots, you'll end up getting modules, which you are seeing right here. Now, modules are gonna do a lot of different things for your build, depending on what type of build you want to make. You're gonna have some that increase your skill cooldown, increase your skill duration, increase your skill power, give you fire resistance, give you toxin resistance. There are gonna be different modules for different things. Depending on the type of boss you're fighting, you may wanna make different builds, and that's what's great about modules, and that's how people are gonna make unique builds in the First Descendants. Now, what if you find a module that you really like and you want to improve it? Well, there is a module master named Cillian. He is in Albion, and he allows you to enhance your modules. And what does this do? Well, for something like skill duration, you can see when you do enhance it, it goes from 11% to 13%. But the more you enhance an item, the higher your mastery level needs to be. And we'll talk about mastery levels in just a second. Remember, we were talking about modules with builds? Well, you also have something called external components, which those are going to help out your max HP, your max defense. They also have attributes attached to them. And then you have your reactor. Now, your reactor, I want to say, is one of the more important pieces to your builds, because your reactor can give you a ton of skill power to improve your skills, right? And if you pair the right reactor with the build you're making, you'll even notice you get some bonus skill power, which is going to improve your build even more. So that's why reactors are very important to your builds. Now, I know I mentioned mastery ranks, and remember, mastery ranks are going to help unlock different features on your character. So you'll have stuff that helps with your module, weapon modules capacity, your Descendant module capacities, your inventory equipment slots. You'll get more storage slots. You'll also end up unlocking the weapon level transmission, which we did talk about in a previous video, and I'll briefly go over it in this one. But once you get enough XP to raise your mastery rank, you'll end up back at Albion, and there is an area where you can level your mastery rank, and then you'll get this cutscene in the back with some nice music. It gets you hyped, lets you know you're evolving your Descendant. Now, say you find a weapon that you really like and you keep leveling up and you find weapons that are higher level. Well, there is something called weapon level transmission, where you can transform the higher level weapon into the weapon that you really like that is lower level, and then it will take that level. As right here, we took a level 1 Thunder Cage, which was the ultimate weapon, and we raised it to level 17. You will need the precise phase exchanger though, as the material plus some gold to be able to pull this off. Now, at the same workbench in Albion, you'll be able to weapon readjustment. And what that means is, say you find a weapon, but you don't really like the talents it has on it or the attributes it has on it, well, you can roll those attributes off of it. So that gives you even a more reason, if you find a weapon that you really like and you just want to swap out the attributes, that is an option for a lot of you too. Now, at launch, you'll have over 14 different Descendants that you can go after. And there's also ultimate descendants that you can go after. Now, remember, we currently know how to get Bunny, and I did a full video on how to unlock her, and she's part of the main quest. So she should be a lot easier to unlock than most of the other descendants. We don't know how all the other descendants will be unlocked, but as soon as we get that info, I'll have a video for you there. Now the question comes up, can you do the mission solo, or do you have to matchmake? No, you can do all the missions in the First Descendant solo, or you can matchmake how I like playing, because I get to see other descendants in action. And then if I see a descendant really performing well, I'm like, hold on, I actually want to try that descendant now. So that's what's cool about matchmaking. You get to see what other people are playing, and you can run through the missions together, getting XP a lot faster. So it's really up to you if you want to play solo or in a group. Now, what I will tell you is this is cross-play. So what that means is you'll play with people on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Yes, that's what's great about this too. So if your friends are on PlayStation, your friends on Xbox, or your friends on PC, you can play with everybody. And for anybody wondering who ends up watching this and hasn't even tried to download it, the game is free to play, so you do not have to spend any money to dive into the First Descendant. Now, say you forget to pick up loot, always go check the mailbox at Albion, because in the mailbox, you'll also have rewards in there, and then you'll have something that's called the Lost and Found, and that's gonna be any items you forgot to collect on the battlefield when you were out there farming. Now in Albion, you're running into a man called Seneca, who is the Void Intercept battle researcher, and he's gonna give you all the details you need to help you beat these colossal bosses. Now, if we look really close on the left-hand side, it's not only gonna show you what type of damage they do, fire attribute, it's gonna show you what type of damage they are resistant to. So on the left, you'll see attribute resistance, very strong to fire, strong to electricity, but they're very weak to frost and very weak to toxin. So obviously the descendants that are gonna perform the best against the Gravewalker is gonna be Viessa, and it's gonna be Freyna. Now, recommended attribute resistance is that means the resistant mods that you can put on your character. There are modules that have fire resistance, so that is something you wanna think about when creating builds against these different colossals. One thing you'll notice is at the bottom it says destructive parts, and then it highlights the sensor, the helmet, and the core cover. So those are parts you're gonna want to target to destroy. Now you'll notice at the bottom it says removable parts. So those are parts that you could grapple to and remove. The brain, the core, and the shell. And those will highlight yellow when you do enough damage to them. As you see right here, when I target it, it's gonna be on the left-hand side. You're gonna see it's blue, right? So once it takes enough damage, that actually turns yellow, and that means you can grapple to it, and then you can attempt to remove it. You're actually gonna see one of my teammates grapple to it as soon as it turns yellow. But yeah, those are the weak points that you can remove. Now, this is another reason why you guys are gonna want to have different descendants, because depending on the boss you fight, depending on his attribute resistance, you're gonna wanna have something that can take down that boss fast. And if you have something that he's immune to, it's gonna be pretty rough for you. And that's why having a few descendants at your disposal is always gonna be better than just having one. And I think that's where we're going to wrap up this video. I hope I didn't drown you with too much information, and I hope I answered most of the question most of you would have. Now, if you guys still have questions, you can let me know in the comments down below. If you actually enjoyed this video and found it useful, leave me a thumbs up and subscribe for more, because we're gonna have a lot of Descendant content on this channel. So I'll see you guys in the next one, but until then, hey, Nothing But Skills is out.